Manchester United's search for the perfect midfield balance continues to be a focal point this season, with the squad still feeling the effects of last summer's transfer window and ongoing challenges in that vital area of the pitch. Despite significant investments in attacking players such as Matheus Cunha, Bryan Mbeumo, and Benjamin Sesko, the midfield remains a puzzle Ruben Amorim is eager to solve. One notable name emerging in recent discussions is the versatile young defender Leny Yoro, who many believe could be key to addressing Manchester United's midfield woes if redeployed effectively. Former Wimbledon attacking midfielder Robbie Earle recently weighed in on this topic during an episode of the Two Robbies podcast, suggesting that Ruben Amorim could find a solution within his existing squad by moving 19-year-old Yoro into a holding midfield position. This proposal comes amidst the high-profile but unsuccessful pursuit of Brighton and Hove Albion's Carlos Baleba, who was viewed as the ideal candidate to provide much-needed steel and dynamism in the middle of the park. Brighton's high valuation north of £100 million, however, made that transfer impossible, forcing the club to look for alternative options. Robbie Earle's idea is rooted in Yoro's blend of athleticism, footballing intelligence, and defensive capabilities. He described Yoro as an athletic midfielder who can see danger, who would track runners, who would understand the role, who can play in midfield. This skill set could fill a critical gap next to Bruno Fernandes or alongside other midfield candidates like Manuel Ugarte or Kobbie Mainoo. While Earle does not position Yoro as a long-term solution to all midfield issues, he suggested that the player could act as an effective stopgap or even evolve into a vital part of the starting 11 if developed properly. The midfield conundrum at Manchester United has been well noted. Ruben Amorim's team has shown glimpses of high potential, yet the midfield often appears outnumbered or outpaced against some of the Premier League's top sides. The presence of creative players like Fernandes is crucial, but the team lacks a consistent defensive shield to break up opposition play and provide balance. Without this, the forward players can be left isolated or overburdened with defensive duties, hindering overall team performance. Manchester United's backline is currently well-stocked with experienced and young defenders like Harry Maguire, Matthijs de Ligt, Aiden Heaven, Lisandro Martinez, soon to return from injury, Luke Shaw, and Noussair Mazraoui. This defensive depth provides Amorim with plenty of options to maintain solidity at the back. However, it's Yoro who has particularly stood out through his performances and has been influential even as a young player in the senior squad. It is this emergence and adaptability that has sparked speculation and recommendation that he could transition into a midfield role. The analogy with Manchester City's Rodri is yet another compelling argument in favor of experimenting with such a change. Like Rodri at City, an athletic and perceptive holding midfielder who combines defensive discipline with positional awareness, Yoro is suggested to carry the attributes to play that role effectively, offering a tactical solution that does not require a costly external signing. If Manchester United can cultivate Yoro's potential in this new role, it might plug a crucial gap in their setup, especially if paired alongside more offensive-minded players. Ruben Amorim has always been tactically flexible and is known for his willingness to adapt formations and roles to fit the team's needs. This approach echoes a famous precedent in Manchester United's history when Sir Alex Ferguson deployed defender Rio Ferdinand in midfield during an injury crisis against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Ferdinand's positional switch helped stabilize the team and contributed to a 3-0 victory. This historical example serves as a potential blueprint for Amorim's current dilemma. Deploying Yoro in midfield could bring several short and long-term benefits to Manchester United. In the short term, it would strengthen the midfield defensively, add density in the center of the park, and better shield the defense from opposition attacks. Over the longer term, it offers Yoro a pathway to become a more well-rounded player, improving his ball distribution, positional play, and overall game understanding. Versatility is highly prized in modern football, and this move could also increase Yoro's value and importance within the squad. The question remains if Ruben Amorim will actively pursue this shift. Yoro's performances this season have certainly merited attention. His mix of composure on the ball, ability to break up play, and physical presence makes him an intriguing prospect. Considering the difficulty in signing midfield reinforcements like Baleba, utilizing internal options becomes an attractive proposition. With transfer windows closing fast and the need for results mounting, mechanical tweaks and player repositioning can sometimes provide the edge teams need. Furthermore, such a move could help handle the workload on current midfield stalwarts such as Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte. These players carry significant responsibilities both offensively and defensively, often covering excessive ground. A player like Yoro, with his defensive mindset and stamina, could ease this burden, allowing more creative talents the freedom to spark attacking plays. From a development standpoint, young players often benefit immensely from taking on new roles and responsibilities. For Yoro, stepping into midfield not only increases his playing opportunities but also accelerates his growth by exposing him to different challenges. The maturity needed to read the game from a more central, controlling position can enhance decision-making skills and overall football intelligence. Of course, there are challenges. Transitioning from a center-back or defensive role to a midfield one requires adjustment, especially in positioning, awareness, and offensive contribution. However, if Amorim customizes the role appropriately, perhaps starting with a deeper, more holding position akin to a defensive midfielder, Yoro's adaptation could be smoother and more natural. The tactical setup will also be critical. Manchester United's evolving style under Amorim depends on swift transitions, coordinated pressing, and fluid passing. Integrating Yoro into midfield must complement this style without compromising defensive solidity. Effective communication with midfield partners and understanding when to step forward or fall back will be essential traits he needs to develop. Looking at the bigger picture, this idea represents a modern trend in football where versatility is becoming the norm rather than the exception. Managers worldwide are continuously experimenting with player roles, blurring traditional positional boundaries to exploit talents and counter opponents more effectively. Yoro, with his physical attributes and game intelligence, symbolizes this new breed of flexible footballers. For Manchester United fans, the thought of Yoro expanding his role might be met with excitement and curiosity. The club's rich tradition of nurturing young talents into world-class players means this could be another chapter in their success story. Yoro's journey could mirror those of past legends who began in one position and flourished after a strategic change. Meanwhile, the club's scouting and recruitment strategies should continue to focus on bringing in specialists to strengthen midfield in the long term. The reported interest in Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton for the January window is a sign that Manchester United is exploring all avenues to shore up this vital part of the team. Still, internal solutions like repositioning Yoro make sense both financially and tactically. Ruben Amorim's decision in the coming months will be closely analyzed. His ability to innovate, motivate, and get the best out of his players will determine whether this suggestion becomes a reality. Should he embrace Yoro's midfield potential fully, it could lead to a significant improvement in Manchester United's stability, balance, and competitiveness for the remainder of the season. In conclusion, Leny Yoro's potential deployment as a holding midfielder is an intriguing and promising idea that addresses one of Manchester United's most persistent issues this season. Whether this becomes a temporary fix or a permanent role will depend on several factors, including Yoro's adaptation and Amorim's tactical vision. The versatility and youthful energy Yoro brings could be just what the Red Devils need as they continue their quest to reclaim domestic and European glory. MUFC Conner will continue to monitor this development closely, bringing updates and analysis as this story unfolds. For now, the possibility of a young star expanding his horizons at Old Trafford is a bright spot amid a challenging season.